Hello! Looks like we're live now. Welcome to another week of Just TV Presents World of Sports with Snides and Rudy. We have Ryan Snyder, good old buddy here. He's going to be my co-host as much as he can here. Very busy man, but I'm glad you took time out of your schedule today to
No problem, my pleasure.
come and chat with me. It's always a good time chatting with you about sports and stuff, so I'm glad to have you here. So today's Grey Cup Sunday. We'll get into that in a bit here. We're going to start with a review in the week of what happened in sports, and then talk about hockey and the Grey Cup and such. So during the week, let's start with NBA. Bradley Beal and John Wall, they are on the trade block. We talked last week about the Washington Wizards not being so great this year. So John Wall, Bradley Beal on the trade block. J.R. Smith with the Cleveland Cavaliers. He as well is not playing anymore. He is looking for a trade out of there as well. And Carmelo Anthony, no longer with the Rockets. He's accepting a trade as well. So some big names looks like to be on the move here for this NBA trade deadline. Nick Nurse, he's doing absolutely amazing for the Toronto Raptors there. What a team. Kawhi Leonard definitely leading. Great to see. Dwayne Casey wins his first game back in Toronto since going to Detroit there. That was a pretty crazy game there. And the Lakers have won 7 of 8. Last week we talked, hey, they're getting up there. They didn't start 0-5 like they were close to. But now they've won their last 7 of 8 with, of course, LeBron James leading the way. That was pretty much the week in NBA. Nothing special, really. Yeah, some big names on the trade block, so let's see what happens there. MLB, some baseball. We have the Hall of Famer ballots come out. Of course, the always controversial Barry Bonds. Does he deserve to be in Hall of Fame? What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. When he was playing, the game was different too. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a lot different than it used to be. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big baseball fan, but yeah.
Yeah, I think Barry Bonds deserves. Yeah, there was the doping scandal and all that, but it's
Everybody was doing it then, though.
yeah, and all the dope in the world is not going to help you hit, however many home runs he hit. So,
Yeah.
He's still a very talented player, and I think he belongs there. Doc Halladay, Roy Halladay, this is his first ballot. His numbers are good enough. I think he's going to be a shoo-in for his first ballot into the MLB Hall of Fame. Another ex-Blue Jay, Vernon Wells. This is Vernon Wells' first time on the ballot. If he can get into the Hall of Fame. One note I got written down here is Mariano Rivera. I think he absolutely deserves to be there. He has 652 saves in his career. Like, that guy was absolutely outrageous. His ERA is below 2, like, for 11 seasons with 30 saves per season. Like, that guy, first ballot all the way. He needs to be absolutely considered for the Hall of Fame. Other news, the Mets are considering to trade Noah Syndergaard. So we'll see what happens there. That guy's a great pitcher. He's absolutely wild. So we'll see if the Mets can get a deal going with him. It's kind of quiet for MLB. It's off season right now, so that's pretty much all we got for baseball. NFL. Last week I talked about how crazy that Monday Night Football is going to be, and they absolutely did not prove me wrong. This is the first time in NFL history that both teams have exceeded 50 points in a game. Absolutely outrageous. LA Rams won that one 54-51, so they won by a field goal. Both teams were the best in the league as well. So, like, what a crazy Monday Night Football that was. I'm glad they didn't prove me wrong, because, man, that was intense. Bob McNair, owner of the Houston Texans, he has passed away this week. So, rest in peace there. Hearts go out, thoughts and prayers to the family of Bob McNair in Houston there. Ryan Tannehill is back with Miami. He's actually starting today versus the Colts. We'll talk about it, how he did next week on the show. rumors, Condoleezza Rice, is she going to be the head coach of the Cleveland Browns?
I really hope so.
Hey, wouldn't that be crazy?
I really hope so.
She's
She's
a huge football fan, and she knows her plays and stuff. And the Browns did put it to rest, saying it was a rumor going around. It's not going to happen, but some pretty exciting stuff there, anyways. And this just came out too. The NFL is actually playing 4 regular season games in London next year. We talked about how they were supposed to play a game in Mexico City last week, but the field conditions did not allow for that, so they moved the game back to LA. But yeah, 4 games in London for the NFL next year. I think the teams are yet to be decided, but as soon as we know, we'll definitely let you guys know.
That's crazy too, because it's strictly like a North American sport.
Well, and the NHL as well is even talking about eventually having teams over the pond, eh? Like, how is that going to work really with jet lag and all that?
Yeah, travel time, I don't think it'd ever work, but I mean, like special games and stuff like that, like all-star events, kind of like that sort of deal.
Yeah, all-stars they should do
cool.
for sure.
And like preseason games is always, they've done well in the last couple of years. So.
I wasn't a fan of it this year because my Oilers started off pretty bad in Sweden there. They started the season in Sweden and they dropped their first 2 games, but definitely growing the game is pretty huge for all 4 North American sports too. I mean, just being able to grow the game across the pond is massive. Lots of money to be had there. So another match that happened Friday, Tiger versus Phil. I don't know if anyone tuned into this, but this was a heater. This went down to actually 22 holes for us to find a winner. And my boy, the lefty, Phil Mickelson, pulled it out there. I'm also a lefty, so of course he's my favorite golfer because left-handed golfers are a dime a dozen, right? So try and learn what I can from him. So Phil wins $9 million. On the side bets they had, $600,000 goes to charity. So great job, those guys there. What a match! 22 holes, like that was wild. So pretty exciting. So let's talk about hockey now. I'm going to start with our local team, the Lethbridge Hurricanes. Dylan Cousins absolutely lighting it up this year in his draft year, of course, too. He's slated to be a top 10 draft pick. Pride of Whitecourt, Yukon there, Whitehorse, Yukon. 6 points versus the Brandon Wheat Kings he had. What a beast.
That's crazy.
And he was in the game yesterday was actually televised against Moose Jaw. What a game that was too. Last time I looked, the Hurricanes were up 3-2 or whatever, and then Moose Jaw scored in the last minute of the game to get into overtime, and then they scored in the last minute of overtime as well. So Moose Jaw kind of snuck in and took that one from us, but it was a good weekend for our boys in the Hurricanes here as they're on their Saskatchewan and Manitoba road trip. Dylan Cousins, I'm looking forward to see where he goes in a draft. It's been a long time since we've had a player in Lethbridge be that touted as a draft pick. I recall, Brent Seabrook, Lucas Spiza, players like that it's been years and years since we had a player on our team that is that highly touted. Yeah, Bellerive got drafted, and Addison to the Penguins. That's pretty cool for both those guys. But to have someone to be a top 10 draft pick in the NHL from our local team here is pretty exciting to see. So hats off to Dylan Cousins there. I'm excited to see where you end up. I want my Oilers to do amazing and to win the Stanley Cup, but I kind of want them to suck so they can get a draft pick in the top 10 and we can land him. But to each their own, right? So that was the dub. Let's talk some hockey now. Big news out of the Oilers again. They traded Ryan Strome to the New York Rangers for Ryan Spooner. Ryan S. for Ryan S. And you're also Ryan S. Wow. So we'll see what happens there. Strome already has a goal for the Rangers yesterday.
Last night.
Spooner's still no points on the Oilers there, but we'll see where they play him, if they're going to throw him up with McDavid or wherever, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. But one thing I've noticed, he's a speedy guy, that guy. He can fly, Ryan Spooner. So hopefully he goes back to the way he was playing in Boston there, where he put up almost 50 points. So And then the big news, Todd McClellan getting the axe. I talked about this on Sunday too, how annoyed I was by him and how, something was going to happen soon. He got the axe.
About time. It's
Absolutely,
about time, yeah.
Yeah, so McClellan's gone. They hired Ken Hitchcock, who is the third most winning coach in NHL history. He won his first game against Ryan's team, San Jose. Booyah! That one was Hitchcock's 825th win in the NHL. Absolutely great to have an old guy like that. He's originally from Edmonton as well. You can't put a price on coaching your hometown team, especially with a Connor McDavid, right? So Ken Hitchcock comes out of retirement for the second time in his career to coach for the Edmonton Oilers here. So we have a coaching kind of vacancy in LA Kings. There was some rumors going around. Todd McClellan, David Quenneville, or Joel Quenneville, sorry.
Patrick Waugh.
Like,
coach the Kings.
That'd be all right.
I don't think it'll happen, but
yeah, they have Willie Desjardins finishing kind of the interim head coach right now. Good old Willie Desjardins. He had a great season, couple seasons in Vancouver. Just kidding. That's pretty much all that happened last week. Not very exciting, but what's on what games we have on the docket today? Is your team playing at all?
No, I don't think so today.
I know my Oilers are playing the worst team in the league, the LA Kings, tonight at 8:30 Mountain Standard Time. LA Kings not doing very great. They got Kopitar's $10 million cap hit there, and he's got like 8 points on the year. Doughty's not going to be a very happy camper if his team's going downhill after he just signed an 8-year, $80-some million contract there.
Yeah, it was like $8 million a year or something like that. I can't remember.
And with that, I got to talk about your team too. Erik Karlsson, he's not having a great year. He finally just got 2 goals he has now.
Yeah.
Is that going to affect his contract coming up as a UFA, do you think?
I don't think so. I mean, he's only 28 years old.
Yeah.
He's won the Norris twice. Like, he's awesome. He's fast. He's got an awesome shot. The guys in the dressing room like him. Like, as soon as he came to San Jose, right, he was like in with them, and everybody was happy. And I think even San Jose will sign him after this year. He's just got to get going a little bit. I mean, they scored on the power play last night, so. Or no, we got shut out last night. It was the night before.
Can San Jose realistically sign him though? With Brent Burns making $8 million, what is Vlasic at 7 or so?
Yeah, something like that, 6. But I mean, Thornton's on his way out.
Yeah.
We just traded Marlowe to the Leafs, and that was huge. And lots of those young guys like Timo Meier and Donskoy and stuff, they just want to play there, right? Like, why wouldn't you? It's a good organization.
And Evander Kane's at $7 million or so as
well.
Yeah,
and even with that, there's still some room to. I think, and Karlsson, why wouldn't he want to play there? Because he was good in Ottawa, but he wants to win a cup.
He wants to play with McDavid. I know it. Could you imagine those two on the same ice together? Yeah. The world's greatest defenseman and the world's best forward. Like seeing Karlsson's passing in Ottawa, like you saw some field goals, right, where he just tosses them up. Him and Connor on the same team would just be money, and he's a right-handed shot as well. Yeah. That is what Edmonton needs for so long.
And every defenseman on the Oilers, they're not passers. There's nobody that can pass the puck. To set stuff up, right?
And we did actually. I forgot about one trade. We picked up Chris Weidman from Ottawa Senators there for a 6th-round pick. He was sitting in the passenger seat of the famous Ottawa Senators Uber ride there.
Yeah.
So the first Uber player is gone from the Ottawa Senators. It seems the dominoes are falling.
Who else was in the vehicle? Was it Turris and?
No, Turris is with Nashville. Matt Duchene was in there.
That's good.
Duchene, Smith, I think. Colin Smith, Chris, one of them Smiths.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, so and going through the Ottawa Senators Twitter feed, all their fans, they hated this trade. They thought Wideman was worth a hell of a lot more than that.
Yeah, he is definitely.
And as an Oilers fan, I'm very excited to see what he can do because a lot of fans are going on about his passing.
Exactly, that's where that comes from. He can pass the puck.
He makes that first pass every time, and he's a right shot as well. So I think this is the start of something. I think Matt Benning I think he's gone from the Oilers because he's had nothing but problems. And if Chris Wideman comes in and steps it up, man, then Benning is absolutely gone. And what a deal, 6th-round pick for Chris Wideman. You can't really go wrong there. So
pretty good deal.
Yeah, what a deal there. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, back to Erik Karlsson. Why wouldn't he want to play in Edmonton?
Everybody wants to play with McDavid.
The hockey mecca of the world, and if you don't do good, you hear it. But if we have a player like Karlsson come in, we're gonna do great. Like that's what we've needed for years, is someone like him. And this is an NHL 19, like I wish it was, where I always try and acquire Erik Karlsson. But
you gotta.
Be interesting to see where he ends up, and where his cap hit will be too, with him not having the greatest year as well. Between that 8 and 11 million, it's got to be right. 8 million's an absolute steal, I would say, for Erik Karlsson.
Definitely.
8 million's a steal of a deal for Erik Karlsson. I'd sign him 8 times 8 any day of the week, no doubt. So we'll see where he ends up. Any other hockey news you want to throw out there? Or?
Not much happened this week.
Yeah, Max Domi. We talked about this earlier today. Max Domi absolutely lighting it up for the Montreal Canadiens. He's one of the, and I kind of had this feeling for a while too. He's one of those players that just thrives in a Canadian market. He's a Canadian boy, obviously Ty Domi's son, right? He loves his Canada, so that trade really kicked him in the butt, and he's the leading scorer on the Montreal Canadiens, and
which is insane,
right?
Yeah, like as if he's the one. Yeah,
and watching his games, like he's just sniping him, like against the Oilers too. He just absolutely sniped it from a bad angle and right in. Like Max Domi's absolutely lighting it up this year, whereas Galchenyuk, who he was traded for, is. What did we say, 2 points or so?
Yeah, he's pretty low.
Yeah, so that trade looked like Marc Bergevin finally wins a trade for the Montreal Canadiens.
And accidentally, though, still.
Yeah.
An accidental win for him.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Montreal Canadiens fans were not happy about that, but I think they're feeling a little bit better now.
And the Drouin trade is, it's still flippy-floppy kind of. Sergachev's doing great with Tampa there, and Drouin absolutely loves playing for his hometown team, right? So Montreal Canadiens picking it up there. Carey Price carrying the team on his back as always. This is the first year, too, of his $10 million cap hit.
Yeah.
7 more years, $70 more million going to Carey Price. Is he going to keep up? Is he able to keep up with his pace at that amount of money in the mecca of hockey in Montreal?
I don't think he'll be with Montreal that whole time. But he is the best goalie in the league, in the world.
It was definitely one of those Marc Bergevin signings where he's like, yeah, I'll sign him, and then the next GM can take care of it because I won't be here for another 10 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got $10 million to Carey Price, 7 point whatever to Shea Weber, who's yet to even play a game this year. That trade was absolutely horrible. PK Subban loved playing for the Montreal Canadiens, but I guess when Marc Bergevin's your GM, he'll trade you for older guys. But we talked earlier today too. Patrik Laine. Patrik Laine, 5 goals in one game. Of course, looking at Sportsnet, all you see is Maple Leafs, Maple Leafs, Maple Leafs. That's how it goes, right? But Patrik Laine scored 5 goals against the Jets in an 8-4 victory. That was the first time since 2011, so 7 years now since our last player had a 5-goal game. So Patrik Laine hitting up 5 goals on Saturday there. What a time. That guy had a little rough start to the season, but now he's our league leading scorer with 16 goals. So he had a rough start to the year, but he absolutely made up for it. Once again, I'd like to say this is an audience discussion as well. If anyone would want to chat with us about anything, feel free to comment on the video on Facebook here. Seeing if there's any Flames fans out there who want to start a little internet fight of keyboard warriors out there. Again, if you're just tuning in, you're watching Just TV World of Sports with Snides and Rudy here. We review the week in sports and just chat anything sports. If anyone wants to chat about anything, feel free to message on here. I see Jordan Murray's watching. Jordan Murray, how was Rumble in the Cage this weekend? Did you go on Saturday there? I heard there's going to be some good matches there. I unfortunately had to judge, well, not unfortunately, but I was a judge in the Battle of the Bands in Coaldale yet last night, so I didn't get to go to the Rumble in the Cage fights, but I had a great time at Battle of the Bands, and the band that won was absolutely amazing. So Suit Jacket Society, if you ever have a chance to see Suit Jacket Society in the concert, go see them because they won Battle of the Bands and they're great. Yeah, that's not very much sports talk, but yeah, we'll see if anyone went to Rumble in the Cage, if they have anything to say about that. Next week, we'll be having a university basketball player here in the studio with us. Be interviewing him and seeing how their season's doing and all that. So it's going to be good to have him here. Yeah, any other hockey stuff we want to bring up or sports in general at all?
We should talk about the Red Deer curling thing.
Yes, that's right.
Just because I just love how that all went down.
You take it over, man.
So Ryan Fry won a gold medal in the Sochi Olympics, and his curling team got super drunk and belligerent and got kicked out of the Red Deer Classic curling tournament, which is like, it's like awesome and sad at the same time, right? Because curling is definitely like a drinking sport, in my opinion, unless you're in the Olympics for it. Like, if you're like super good, like, don't get too. But these guys are really, really good curlers, and yeah, they got belligerent like teenagers and got kicked out, and I just love it. That's Canada. Man. Yeah, that's Red Deer especially. So
yeah, Ryan Fry there. That's. You don't hear that very often, right? That's pretty whacked there. So,
well, I've seen some pretty drunk curlers. I've never seen anybody.
Have you watched curling live?
Oh yeah.
Are you gonna check out the what is it? What's coming to Lethbridge here that the NMAX Center double booked and they have the Lethbridge Hurricanes have nowhere to play their playoffs?
Yeah, that's right, eh?
Are you gonna go watch that curling?
Maybe
or World Championships or something? Is it?
I think that's what it is. Yeah, something big.
Yeah, it's Lethbridge's. Curling is pretty big in Lethbridge.
I'm not huge into curling, right? But I mean, I've played it, and
I enjoy playing it. I remember in high school playing curling, and I actually really enjoyed it. But I wasn't very stable on ice at that time, so I'm hoping to get better at that. I'm actually training. I got a charity hockey game coming up in Edmonton. In about 2 weeks' time, I'll actually be away from the show on that Sunday. Ryan and our buddy Josh is going to take over the show. But I'm going up to raise money and awareness for autism. My son is 5 and he has autism. So I'm actually going to a charity hockey game in Edmonton. We're raising money for our local charity here called Chinook Autism Society. And my boy's actually going to be dropped a celebratory puck drop there. And I'll come back with a nice big donation check for Chinook Autism. So just put a shout out there to at Oilers Live and at Mike Dursa on Twitter there for arranging this and for picking this great charity in Lethbridge here. And everyone's going to love it because this is literally my first time playing ice hockey. I play lots of road hockey and rollerblades, but never on ice. So I have a feeling I'm going to be a bender. How do I stop that? Do I just tape it till I can't feel my feet or what?
Yeah. Yeah, you can do that. I would.
Yeah?
Yeah, for sure.
Because, when I was skating as a kid, I was always such a bad bender, so I definitely want to get away from that and working on myself, starting to work out and stuff so I can keep up with the other guys that are playing in this ice hockey game. Pretty excited about this, going up to Edmonton. We'll check out West End Mall and stay in a beautiful hotel downtown and go play some ice hockey.
And make sure you understand that the puck's a lot heavier than a ball. I remember the first time I played, like, after a while, it was like 10 years ago. And I went to take a slap shot, and I just like right on my head.
See, I'm just hoping I get at least one breakaway that I can Peter Forsberg that goalie, right? Just one-handed, get it in. Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
That's my move, right? So I'm hoping, like, I just want one breakaway from these guys. I'm hoping Mike Haber, I hope he's watching. He said he would. If he's watching, if he'll just give me one of those Carlson passes and send me in, man, because I'm ready. I'm going to take out, I'm going to get a few points. I know it. I've been doing pretty good at our ball hockey there, our road hockey lately this season. I feel pretty good about that. So let's look at some NHL scores happening right now. We had an early game, the Calgary Flames and the Phoenix Coyotes.
Just crushed them.
Yeah, Calgary, ever since that Calgary got whooped 9-0 by the Penguins there, they've really got their butt in gear. And 6-1 they won against the Phoenix Coyotes. First in the division. If there's any Calgary fans watching, feel free to comment on what you thought of the game or how you think your team's doing so far. Pretty good for Bill Peters, his first year coaching the Flames.
Yeah, I think they're doing awesome. It's exciting to watch the Flames again, right? I don't necessarily like the team, but it's exciting to watch, like, even Tkachuk, who I don't really like at all, but Monahan and Gaudreau.
Yeah.
They're killing it so far.
And David Riddick. Big Save Dave, they call him in Calgary. They're Big Save Dave. Mike Smith has been doing very great this year, but David Riddick has really picked it up. The player you said earlier, Matt Tkachuk, man, that guy, he's like Ryan Kessler. You love to hate him, but if he was on your team, you would absolutely just love him.
I would still have a problem with Kessler, I think, but
yeah, me too. Holding the pad in the last playoff run for the Oilers. There, we won't get into that because I'll start drinking. But Matt Tkachuk, he's like, and it's his contract year too. Yeah. He's gonna, I'm guessing 7 to 10, man, because he's absolutely lighting it up.
Yeah, he's worth it.
Their leading scorer. He's always under the skin of his opponents.
Yeah.
I wish, the whole time in that draft, the 2016 draft, that's who I wanted. I wanted Matt Tkachuk. And Puljujarvi fell to 4th overall, and Edmonton thought they won the draft by picking him. And look at the two players, right? Puljujarvi up and down between the AHL and Matt Tkachuk just lighting it up. Imagine what the Oilers would be like today if they had a Matt Tkachuk type player. Hopefully Ken Hitchcock can work with Puljujarvi and get him to where he can be. But for the time being, Flames won that draft for sure. 5th overall, they got Matt Tkachuk there. They got a steal of a deal there. Everyone thought Columbus was crazy going off their rocker going with Pierre-Luc Dubois in the 2nd overall there, but he's been doing amazing as well. So these kids are... The way hockey is nowadays, it's so just... These kids are so good. And, like, I remember I went to all the Hurricanes when they had the open practices there, and watching these 15 and 16-year-old kids, and it's like, it is exciting to watch, and it's just a scrimmage, it's not an actual game, but these kids are giving her. And Lethbridge Hurricanes actually selected our local boy, Zach Stringer. He got selected 8th overall. He's from Lethbridge here. He's actually my best friend's nephew, so I have a little insight into him there. But Zach Stringer, you guys watch out for this kid. He's going to be full-time Lethbridge Hurricane next year. I hope they call him up for a few games this year. But this kid's making the NHL. I'm calling it now. He's going to be a first-rounder in the NHL for sure. Zach Stringer, he handles the puck like it's on a string on his stick. Like he can stick handle in a phone booth, as they say. I'm actually going to be getting season tickets next year to be able to watch him all the time because that is an exciting player. So the Hurricanes in a year or two with Zach Stringer on board is going to be pretty cool to see. That's good for the Hurricanes in selecting a hometown boy like that too, right? Back to the NHL scores. We have the Tampa Bay Lightning, New Jersey Devils going on. My boy Taylor Hall representing the Devils. Sorry, just had to wipe a tear from my eye about that one there.
He's much happier in Jersey, though. You gotta be.
And that's what he needed. He needed to be like the one guy on the team, right? The big star, whereas Edmonton, we had Nuge and Ebbs and everyone, right? for him to take the lead like that is absolutely huge. And then to win the Hart Trophy, right? Like,
Yeah.
good for him, man. I miss him a lot. Where would we be now if Halsey was still an Edmonton Oiler? Who knows, right? But Tampa Bay's winning this one 3-0 so far, and we're only halfway done the first period. So looks like they might hold out for this one. Braden Point, 16 goals on the year. He's got a power play goal. That guy's a steal, too, in the draft, man. Stevie Yzerman really built that team, like, really good. Like,
He did.
And the re-signings he did in a good cap hit for the players he re-signed. He built a winner and then moved on. He's still a free agent GM out there. Lots of people saying he might go to Detroit. I
It'd be nice to see. Like, why wouldn't he end up in Detroit, right? Like,
Exactly,
he's
yeah.
gone.
Yeah, so we'll see. See where.
Jersey just scored.
Oh, we have a goal by the New Jersey Devils there. So 3-1. Got a comeback happening here. Stefan Nosen, it looks like. But yeah, Steve Yzerman. I know a lot of Oiler fans too are like, we need Yzerman, get rid of Chiarelli. I'm in that boat, get rid of Chiarelli, but I don't think Yzerman would come to Edmonton. If he did, that'd be pretty cool. He'd build a great team here, but he had to move on from Tampa Bay for personal reasons there. But what a team he built, and yeah, let's see where he ends up. Another game on the docket, we have the Ducks and the Predators are playing at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Predators are first in the Central, and the Ducks are third in the Pacific. I hope they go to last in the Pacific, because who likes the Ducks, right?
Nobody.
And then we have my Oilers against the Los Angeles Kings, the league's worst team, 8:30 p.m. local. Man, I hate when the Oilers play in California because the game times are so late, like 8:30 p.m. for us here, right? Like
Always watch them until 11:30.
Yeah. I remember in the playoffs, the Oilers and Sharks there.
Yeah.
And we're going to overtime, and you're like, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. Like, come on now. Like, I think we only got to like second overtime or so with those games, but that was. I reminisce a lot because I miss the Oilers being in the playoffs. So I hope we can get there again because.
They're challenging that goal too.
What do you think of all these coaches' challenges and stuff that the NHL brought in?
I like it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
I think I just hate how after every goal the camera shows the bench and the coach is looking down. You never see any reaction from a coach or nothing. They're always just looking down at their tablets. The offside challenges and the goaltender interference challenges. They never go Edmonton's way, so I have nothing good to say about them.
That's what every fan says, though. Their team, they're like, "Oh, we're always getting screwed on those calls." But I mean, I think it's great. It just makes it fair. Like, it's not like a road hockey game, right? It's like professionals playing.
And there's talk about the MLB even bringing that into challenges and stuff like that. So we'll see how far that gets. But
It drags the game on, which is the problem with it, because.
yeah, and especially with baseball, they're trying to make games shorter, right? Not the last 4.5 or however long they are. They're trying to make it shorter, but then they're talking about bringing in an instant replay or a challenging setup. It's like, what? Why? Like, what's the point in making the game longer than it already is?
Yeah, baseball games are so long.
I love them, though. I can sit up and watch a full baseball game. A lot of my friends will just pass out, but
Yeah, I definitely do.
I'm a big baseball fan. Toronto Blue Jays, Los Angeles Dodgers, always my teams there. I was pretty happy, though. I do like the Houston Astros, so it was the Astros versus the Dodgers. That was a tough one for me. I grew up with Craig Biggio and all those guys on Houston, so it was nice to see them. Toronto Blue Jays they're going to have a good team next year. They got Guerrero Jr. coming up, Bo Bichette. Biggio's son is in the organization, and he's doing good. I'm excited to see what the Blue Jays do this year. Hopefully they can get some free agent, big-name pitchers like we talked about last week there. So, I'm going to mention again, we do have audience discussion here if anyone wants to comment and chat sports at all. Flames, Oilers. Grey Cup's going on right now. Can you get me a score on the Grey Cup there? That'd be pretty cool to see what we're at here. Who are you pulling for?
Either way. Yeah, obviously.
Go Stamps.
Yeah.
You know what's weird? I'm an Oilers fan, but I got into the CFL about 5 years ago, and my wife's grandpa took me to a game in Calgary, and it was the Stamps and the Argos, and I was just mind blown to see, 20,000 people all screaming at the top of their lungs. Yeah. I was just absolutely mind blown, and I always watch the Stamps because I love Bo Levi Mitchell. And so a lot of my friends give me a lot of grief because I'm an Oilers fan and a Stamps fan, right? Like
kind of taboo,
kind of odd, right? As an Oilers fan, we always go ABC, anyone but Calgary. But come CFL, I got to pull from the Stamps. And the last two Grey Cups they've lost as well. And Bo Levi is a great quarterback. He needs to win one. So
they're winning.
Are they winning?
13-3 right now.
13-3, 8 minutes to go in the second quarter there. This game is being played in Edmonton as well at Commonwealth Stadium. Pretty odd that, or if Edmonton would have got in, the way the standings were set up, that if Edmonton would have got in and made it to the Grey Cup, they would have played in Edmonton, but in the visitors' locker room. And the other team would have been in the Eskimos'
that
locker room. That
messed you up a little bit.
That's a little weird.
In your own building, but in the visitors.
Yeah. So they didn't make it, of course. We have a rematch of the 2016 Grey Cup, the Ottawa Red Blacks, Calgary Stampeders. I'm calling it now. Stampeders are going to pull this one out for Bo Levi Mitchell's first Grey Cup victory. My wife just commented, Grandpa went for the Argos. Yes, he's an Argos fan, but just the amount of energy they had in the stadium there for Calgary. And as an Oilers fan, I see a lot of blue and white. I need to have some red in my life, so I felt like I just went to the Stamps. They're a great team. They've been a powerhouse in the CFL for the last few years with Bo Levi, so that's why I chose the Stamps as my team. They're killing it this year, and I think they're going to be Grey Cup champions finally for Bo Levi there. Anyone else? Any people out there have anything to chat with us about? Feel free to comment on the post here. It doesn't have to be hockey. It can be baseball, soccer. I mean, we don't know much about soccer, but we'll certainly act like we do.
Yeah.
I do know Alphonso Davies. He's a Canadian soccer player. He's supposed to be really, really amazing soccer player. He went over to Germany there and representing Canada very well as a young soccer player. So good on Alphonso Davies for that one there. Yeah, so that's almost the week there. Seeing what other news we can bring you guys. Lots of news about Nick Nurse being great with the Raptors there. What about, are you following any of the prospects for the draft coming up at all, NHL draft?
A little bit, yeah.
Capo Caco.
Yeah.
What a name, eh?
Yeah.
He's going to be first to third there. Jack Hughes, of course, the consensus first overall pick. His brother Quinn was a draft pick for the Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah.
Both of one of our most hated teams, of course.
Probably the most hated for me.
Yeah. The Capo Caco. I know Dylan Cousins, who I mentioned before. Jack Hughes. There's a few big names out there that are. I love draft time. I'm such a huge fan of the NHL draft. Couple months before I'll go and I'll just do a full read up on every single player, the 1 to 30 players there. I'll do a full read up and I'll sit and I'll watch rounds 2 to 7. Like I have no issue with that. And people are like, "How?" Just listen to it or whatever. And I'm like, I love it. I absolutely love watching the draft.
I'll watch till about the 5th round and then I can't be bothered.
Like that one year, New Jersey selected Anthony Brodeur with the very last pick.
Yeah.
And like that was awesome. That was great TV. That was Martin Brodeur's boy, and I don't even know if he's still with the organization, but that's why I tuned in. That was exciting stuff to see. Any Stanley Cup predictions at all from you there, Snides?
Leafs.
Oh,
It's hard to not say it. I just think that, yeah.
and Austin Matthews is still out, and they're lighting it up. They won 6-1 the other day, or 6-0 or something.
I think that it might be time.
Yeah, hey, it's
They've been building towards it, so.
and they've had the drought since 1967.
67, yeah.
You know, I'm ABC, anyone but Calgary, but I want to see a Canadian team win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
It hasn't happened since 1994, the Montreal Canadiens. I was 3 years old, you know. I didn't get to see that.
I remember it.
I want to see a Canadian team win the Stanley Cup so bad. And I say ABC, anyone but Calgary, but I tell you, if Calgary Flames are in the Stanley Cup Finals against Tampa or whoever,
Oh, yeah, I'd be rooting for them for sure.
I'd be rooting for Calgary because I just want to see it, man. The Cup belongs in Canada, and it needs to happen soon because 1994 is a long ways away, and that's the last time we've had a Cup here in Canada. So, bold prediction by Snides there. The Toronto Maple Leafs as Stanley Cup champions. That's crazy. I did not expect to hear those words out of your mouth.
I know, I didn't expect to say them. But they just look good.
I don't know who I'm picking. Tampa Bay looks pretty darn good right out of the gate. Like you said, Steve Yzerman built a great team there.
For Colorado. Super, even kind of a dark horse still, but they played pretty good in Colorado.
Yeah, Mikko Rantanen, he was the NHL leading scorer for a while there. I think he got dethroned this weekend, but Rantanen, I think, wouldn't it be funny if Ottawa couldn't re-sign Matt Duchene and he goes back to Colorado?
Why wouldn't he want to?
They were saying that earlier that he might, if they can't get him re-signed. Well, who wants to re-sign in Ottawa anyways? Like, if your contract is up, get the heck out of there. I think it would just be hilarious to see him re-sign with Colorado after all that happened. That was his childhood team, but man, they have a good system too. Tyson Jost, I'm a big fan of him, and they still have players in the minors that are going to be huge when they come up. Cale Makar from Brooks Bandits there.
He played on the junior team last year.
Yeah,
he didn't play that much, but he played good.
Yeah,
he's a tiny guy. He's only like 5'9" or something, little defenseman, but he's fast and he's good.
I have a Colorado buddy, and he's filling me in on all their prospects, and he cannot wait till next year that they get Makar in the lineup.
Yeah, he's in my fantasy team, actually. I have him in my junior slot right now, Just waiting for him to start playing.
There we go, eh? Cale Makar. What about Calder? Who do you think? Elias Peterson's obviously the front runner with Vancouver there.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's so much fun to watch. I watch Canucks games because he's playing there. And that's the only reason I watch. A Canucks game.
Pretty much the same. It was horrible though when he scored that one slap shot goal right to the top corner. People were saying it's quite Gretzky-esque, and I was like, you can't say that.
No.
Especially you have a Vancouver Canuck. You can't say that's Gretzky-esque. Get out of here. Elias Peterson's pretty great, but he's not even in the same conversation, in the same breath as Gretzky there. So, Elias Peterson looks like he's the front runner for the Calder Trophy. Art Ross, McDavid's right up there. We just said Patrick Laine, 16 goals. He's the leading goal scorer in the NHL now. So he's fighting for the Maurice Richard Trophy.
That would be nice to see him win that too. I could get down with that.
I would like to see that because there's a whole debate, Matthews or Laine, who's better, right?
Yeah.
And each player to their own. They're both great players, but I would just like to see Laine win that one. Yeah. Wouldn't it be funny if Laine won the Maurice Richard and Matthews wins the Cup this year?
Yeah.
That'd be quite the irony, actually. So, that was a lot of hockey talk here. Stamps are up 14-3 now against the Red Blacks there in the Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton. So, everyone keep an eye on that game because it is Grey Cup Sunday. We will cover more of it next week, of course, but Grey Cup Sunday is always huge in Canada. Do you always ever have a Grey Cup party?
Oh, yeah. I mean, my parents always did, or my dad always did. So I always watched the game, but I watch a little bit more NFL than I do CFL, but it's mostly just hockey.
Yeah.
So that's all I have room for.
Yeah, I used to be all NFL over CFL, and then I started getting into it about 5 years ago. And one thing I do love about CFL is how wide the end zones are. That allows for a lot more crazy plays to happen. It's quite enjoyable watching the CFL. The third down thing I'm not the biggest fan of. Right, it should be 4 downs, I believe, but that's what got me into CFL. Actually, was the extended end zones, because it just allows for so much more different plays to happen. So quite exciting there. Patriots beat the Jets. Brady has set another NFL record. Let's see what it is here. Became the career leader in total yards passing in regular season and playoff games. Tom Brady, is he the GOAT of the NFL?
Yeah. I mean, he's fun to watch. Like, I'll watch those games where they play.
He's got more Super Bowl rings than any other quarterback.
Anybody, eh? Yeah.
Even though there was Deflate Gate and all that jazz, he still...
Everybody cheats a little bit. When you can, you sneak one in there.
You heard it here first from Snides there. He made the call. I think, Brady's absolutely the GOAT. He has more Super Bowls than any quarterback. Yeah, the game's changed since Joe Montana days, but absolutely Brady's the GOAT. He's 41 years old right now, and he's still starting quarterback. Like, he's going to be like Favre and play till he's 45. Good for Brady, man. Good for him. And he married Gisele Bundchen. Like,
right? Yeah.
Right? Question I posed last week, Eli Manning. Do you consider Eli Manning a Hall of Famer?
Yeah, they're both good.
Yeah.
Like, both the brothers, right?
Yeah.
They're some of the best that in the last decade of NFL.
I absolutely think he was. I said it last week. There's a lot of debate about it, but I absolutely think Eli Manning is for sure a Hall of Famer. Football's quite exciting this year. There's lots of surprises, like the Rams, how great they're doing. Jared Goff there, and Todd Gurley, and just good teams all around. Here's a big shock we haven't talked about. NHL, Buffalo Sabres. Your Buffalo Sabres are the #1 team in the NHL. It's not 1999. This is 2018 here, and you heard that correct. The Buffalo Sabres are the #1 team in the NHL right now. I gotta say, as an Oilers fan, that kind of stings. But good for them, man. Jack Eichel leading the way. Casey Middlestat. Of course, they got the first overall selection from last draft, Rasmus Dahlin, the new Carlson.
Pretty much, yeah, he's going to be good.
They got Jeff Skinner from the Carolina Hurricanes.
He's playing really good there, too.
And, he's wanting between $7 and $10 million on his next contract as well. Like,
Buffalo can afford it.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So, Buffalo Sabres... What a weird thing to say. First in the night, they've been bottom feeders for I don't even remember how long, but many, many years. They're always tops in the draft there. Crazy news there, Buffalo. Now, if only the Bills can do the same thing, right? They've been bottom feeders for a while as well.
Yeah, Buffalo's hasn't been a city for sports for a bit, eh?
But yeah, Buffalo, just looking here, 34 points. Yeah. Washington behind them by 5 points. The Washington Capitals, the reigning Stanley Cup champions, are behind the Buffalo Sabres. What the heck, man? Like, that's just crazy to me here. In the West, we have the Nashville Predators on top with 33 points. Calgary Flames behind them, 4 points behind them with 29. 14-9-1 are the Calgary Flames. Nashville 16-6-1. PK Subban's been on the IR for a while, so Nashville's playing without some of their, arguably their best D. I mean, Yossi's pretty amazing, but
Yossi's awesome. I love him, and
an amazing cap hit too. Yeah. Like and Ryan Ellis. Like, how can you not love Ellis from junior days, right? Seeing him.
Nashville definitely has a strong enough D to. Subban could not play for half the season and come back, and they'd be fine.
And David Poile, the GM, he's a dinosaur. He's been Nashville's GM since they were brought into the league. The longest tenured GM in the league. he's finally got it going there. The Subban trade got it going. The Turris trade, they got Turris there from Ottawa because they got rid of Johansson there for Seth Jones. Yeah, they traded Seth Jones for Ryan Johansson. So Nashville always in the thick of things. So Jess is telling us we got 3 minutes left here. So if anyone wants to have a quick discussion, feel free to comment. This is our second ever show. Jess TV presents the world of sports with Snides and Rudy. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We have a few minutes if anyone wants to have a discussion about anything, any sport at all. It can be golf, curling, whatever you prefer. You guys come on, have a chat with us here. As I said, next week we'll be having a university basketball player in the studio with us, so I'm looking forward to doing that. Our little interview with him there, see how his season's doing and all that. And I'm working on trying to get some Lethbridge Hurricanes in here. Let's see if we can get some local hockey guys in here and have a good time. Let's keep our elbows up here, boys. So, we'll start winding it down here. It doesn't look like anyone's commenting, but thank you guys for watching. I'm looking forward to next week's show to talk about the Grey Cup as well. I'll just get one more score for the Grey Cup. I'm sure a lot of people are watching. But for those who aren't, the score right now is still 14-3 for Calgary with 2:45 left in the second half there, or in the second quarter. Bo Levi Mitchell already at 176 passing yards.
That's crazy.
Wow. So my boy Bo Levi there, hopefully he gets his first Grey Cup. So that'll do it for this week. I'd like to thank you all for watching. I'd like to thank Jess for having us here, my buddy Ryan, good old Snides for coming on with me. He'll be around as much as he can here. And thank you all for watching. I look forward to chatting with you all next week. You stay golden, Lethbridge. Thank you.